What's up guys, Intentional back with yet another video, and the thumbnail's a little bit different with the green and purple outline because this is just going to be kind of a ramble video. I'm not going to really do a whole lot of edits. I'm just going to throw gameplay in the background and then talk about whatever I want to talk about. And today we're going to be talking about the Moonkin. Now I'm just talking about Moonkin simply because I already have a few videos out on it. I have like 2 guides, one about the Phase 1 gear and whatnot. But I know when I was first starting out trying to be a Moonkin in Classic WoW, I was trying to watch as many videos and look up as many guides as I can. And so I'm just kind of putting out this video, kind of a ramble video on Moonkins again, for the simple fact that I know there's a few people out there that might be like me, just consuming everything about it. And this one's just going to be mainly actually Classic World of Warcraft and going into it as a Moonkin, because of the Phase 1. We're not jumping into a private server that already has Nax out and whatnot. We're jumping into Phase 1 with Molten Core and the Nixia, I believe. And we don't even have Dire Maul, we don't have Zol Grub or anything. Rarely, we don't have any hit gear, pretty much. So we're not going to be playing it as we would if Nax was out, where we have our hit gear and whatnot, and we can actually deal damage and focus damage a lot more than being just a supportive class. With this Phase 1 patch, we're going to have to focus a lot on being supportive to kind of get that role in the guild in order to move on and get the gear needed to do more damage, if that makes more sense. So we're going to get out DPS pretty hard, I feel, in Phase 1. Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong, because there isn't a whole lot of hit gear for the other classes as well, range classes. However, they do get hit from their talents and we simply don't. So that's where we're really going to get screwed over. Regardless, we're going to have to do a lot more support, and that's what I'm going to do personally. I'm going to focus a lot more on off healing, making sure everybody's buffed, thorns out, debuffing, getting aggro on the mob. If it goes towards a healer, bringing it to a tank, kind of making sure that the run goes smoothly and to prove myself for my guild. I don't actually have a guild that I'm 100% confirmed to be a Moonkin in, so I'm kind of going down the same path as everybody else that's going to be a Moonkin, where we're just going to have to prove ourselves, find our guild and whatnot. And it's going to be a pain in the ass. I just did a run on my private server where people were skeptical that I was a Moonkin in the first place. In world chat, someone was like, "Oh, a Moonkin, those are rare. Like, oh, maybe we should bring him to the dungeon." I mean, it wasn't like a full-on, like, "Oh, you're trash, like, we're not going to bring you." It was just more that skepticism is still there. And it's going to be a lot more so in Classic WoW, because we're going to have a lot of players that didn't play the private servers, who never really got to experience all these off-specs and whatnot that are actually raiding. They're coming in from their mindset from back in the day, where if you were a Moonkin, you were a joke. So I feel like that's going to be a lot more of a hurdle to jump over, along with the gear and whatnot we're going to have to find for Phase 1, and it's just going to be a pain in the ass. All I can really do is just maybe go heals for a little bit, pick up some damage gear, then go Moonkin is what I would personally recommend. I'm not sure if I am going to do that. That would be the best way to do it, but I generally just do not like healing. It's very boring for me personally. That would probably be the smart choice though. And then you really just need to focus on, I would focus alchemy personally, and everything buff wise, like potions, etc. Maybe not only just for yourself, but for your guild, if you're trying to get a spot somewhere, to just get known that, hey, he's reliable, he's bringing more pots and whatnot for us. And don't be a bitch. Like, don't make yourself the bitch of the guild where people go up to you and get free shit. Don't do that. But I'm saying, you step up your game a little bit, if this does make any sense, because Phase 1, I don't see, you're literally the only reason to bring a Moonkin in Phase 1 would literally be for the crit buff, and if you're not doing anything else proving that you're more useful than just that crit buff, I don't see it going too far. I don't see you getting any gear too, especially if you're joining a guild with like a council loot. You're always going to be last to get all that damage gear because you're literally just being brought along for the buff. So you're going to have to prove in other ways on how to get shit done. Especially in Molten Core too, because there's a lot of mobs and bosses that are immune to arcane damage, where that's going to affect our damage as well, and then we're going to be missing a lot. We're not going to have that crit, so we're not going to be able to dish out spells like more than we can with Nature's Grace, and that the big Starfire crits, we're not going to have those as much. It's going to be very RNG heavy, and instead of relying on the RNG to be good, we need to focus on more stable avenues of proving ourselves. And I highly recommend, if you are able to, or if you don't have any trouble doing it, to definitely hop on a private server if you can and just practice being a Moonkin. You can see in this footage right here, I'm super rusty, and I want to make sure that I'm not that bad when going into Classic. We do have the whole leveling experience, which is going to really get everything worked out for us. However, it's nice to get familiar once again. And not only to get familiar with being a Moonkin again, it's maybe try to find a guild or a group that you can kind of secure a spot in going into Classic World of Warcraft. It doesn't even have to be like a full-on guild, just like a group of 4 people where you know, hey, I got a secure DPS spot in this group, we're going to go farm our gear and whatnot, everything's going to be good, so I can move on to raids knowing that I have my 5-man gear. And that's something I highly recommend doing. It's just going to make life a lot easier on you instead of sitting in Stormwind or Ironforge asking groups, hey, you know, will you take a Moonkin in? And going through those few people that are going to laugh at you saying that you are useless and whatnot, or just bringing you along for maybe even an off heal, or asking you just to drop your spec real quick then go heal, where you're not going to get the gear anyways. That definitely was a huge part of when I first started Moonkin, were people telling me drop my spec but go heal, and then I could still roll on the damage stuff, and I wasn't able to roll on the damage gear because the mage or warlock in the group was like, yo, he's healing, like, Moonkin's a joke anyways, I'm just gonna need this shit. And it's just a hurdle that you're gonna have to go to, and making sure that you're secure with that group is very helpful. And another thing leading into this, for being or finding a guild, is to always, and this is kind of a crappy thing, this is like for the no-lifers out there, but is to always be willing to go into a dungeon even if you don't need that gear. Just putting your face out there and having people see it and knowing, hey, this guy's always down for dungeons, he's always doing decent DPS, even if it is below, say, like a really good mage. That mage might not be here all the time, we might not be able to rely on him, and this Moonkin who's doing somewhat decent DPS, I'm just going to say it, mediocre, below mediocre. However, he's super reliable, and not only is he just bringing that damage in, he's bringing all this utility as well. That's where you're really going to be shining, is that reliability, what you bring to the raid. So, this is really just a no-lifer type of spec, I guess you could say, at least at the beginning where you can secure it. And although it kind of is a no-lifer spec, it's definitely worth it. I had a lot of fun with my experience the first time. I'm looking forward to the second time. And although this wasn't like a whole lot of information, it was just kind of me rambling on what I'm personally going to do and a few tips, I guess you could say. I hope it helped somebody out there who's wanting to be a Moonkin. You're really just going to have to step your game up and maybe do stuff you don't necessarily want to do, because you don't really gain anything from it. You're going to have to do it out there because it's a reputation. It's not trying to get a higher number. It's not trying to get an achievement. This is your reputation on your server in Classic World of Warcraft, and really building a name for yourself as a Moonkin is what you're really going to focus on. And that's really it I have to say on this video, I suppose. If you guys want to see more videos like this, please let me know. This one was like a total ramble. You could definitely tell It's not scripted or anything like my other videos, and I had kind of fun doing it. I had a lot of fun recording it too. This is my first time hopping back on this character. Kind of retired it for a while, and I hopped back on to get some footage for this video, and it really showed me how rusty I was, what I was forgetting. Some stuff in my own videos that I was writing about, I wasn't doing in game, and it's I'm gonna be streaming maybe. I don't want to get banned doing private server shit before the actual release of Classic World of Warcraft, but maybe I will stream a little bit of me playing a Moonkin if you guys would like to see that. Just let me know. Anyhow, I think this video is long enough, and if you like the video, please leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. I hope you guys have a good one, and peace.